Oh my god, guys. I wonder what I'm gonna be complaining about today. I'm sat at my desk here, right after school. Just got home, basically, like 20 minutes ago, right? Give or take. Um, and what do? I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna complain about something. But it's not even really complaining, though, is it? I don't know. Okay. There's something I've been noticing lately. I don't understand. And other people have made, YouTube videos about this, video essays, whatever. Even like I've seen shit about this on like Instagram Reels, right? Like that's so people are definitely, talking about this, and I'm not the first person to be talking about this, right? And I want to make that clear, right? This isn't, but there's a weird rise of like anti-intellectual thinking and beliefs, right? And I think that that's really strange, especially as an artistic person myself. I really as an artistic, like, I don't know, as an artistic and inquisitive person, the idea of not wanting to I wrote down refusing to try and understand deeper meanings and multiple like angles of I'm gonna be primarily talking about art today, right? As well as some social stuff. But basically, and I apologize if this is a little disjointed. I tried recording this video already, and it was kind of a mess. I got like halfway through what I was trying to say, and then realized that I hadn't actually said anything. I was just kind of rambling about nothing. Basically, I take there's my English class that I'm taking. It's an English language arts class, right? It's an AP class, right? So, basically what we do in this class is it's like equal parts art and literature. So we look at paintings and architecture and photography, mainly from neoclassicism. We started with neoclassicism and now we're in modernism, and I think that's what we're ending the year with, roughly, is like modernism and potentially like, and then probably a little bit of contemporary stuff and abstract crap, but it doesn't matter, right? I'm really trying not to get off track. Basically, so yeah, we look at art and we analyze it, we look, a big thing about our class is we look at a piece of art or literature or whatever, and we look at it in its context. A huge part about this class is understanding the context in which a piece of art is made, right? And different factors to that, like whether it's social, economic things happening at the time, personal things with artists, also movements responding to other movements and counter movements and all of this sort of thing. And I think that's all fine and dandy, right? I love this class. It's one of my favorite classes that I do, honestly. I love my teachers, right, in this class. There are two of them. It's a really great class. My mom took it as well. It's like it was a class I looked forward to all of high school up to this point, because you could only apply when you're a sophomore, or sorry, you can only apply if you're a junior or a senior, because it's an AP class and they only let juniors and seniors take AP classes at my school. I don't know. But basically, it's an AP class, right? So we had to apply to it, like a written, application, just a short essay, right? And I'm not trying to sound elitist or anything, right? I'm not I'm not trying to be elitist. I'm just saying, going into this class, I had kind of an expectation of, my whole life I've kind of, felt like a lot of my English classes, especially except for the circumstances where I had very, very good teachers, like exceptionally good teachers, I always kind of felt like my English classes were either not that challenging or not that interesting and very kind of just boring and basic, as well as not being challenging enough for me, to like properly be able to engage with it, right? But so then going into an AP class that also you have to apply for, so clearly you must. They also literally were like, if you don't have an interest in the arts, do not take this class, you know? Like, it's like one of those sorts of things where it's like, it's a very specific interest level that I fit into perfectly, and I was very excited to be taking this class, right? And it's not an issue with my teachers or anything, honestly, but it's the kids in my class. I went to this class, right, just expecting a certain level of, I guess, maturity and, not higher thinking exactly, but, you know, just a higher level of, I guess, seeking of knowledge, right? And, I don't know, just a greater appreciation for what we're studying and, like, higher engagement level with the actual material, you know, with the teachers, with the lessons, than what there was, right? Than what there is currently, right? Because I had an issue with this today. And for the most part, it was pretty fine. But once we started modernism is when, at the start of the semester, is when it started getting a bit rocky, right? Which is so weird to me, right? But basically, I have in my notes, because my teacher had us actually take notes on her introduction to modernism, right? And that's how important this was for her, right? Was that she wanted us to really understand that modernism is about how something is seen and interpreted, and, you know, what you take away from it, and how you are seeing something versus what you are seeing exactly, right? And breaking it down and engaging with the art itself, with the media that you're analyzing, right? Because that's a super important part. The main thing we do in our class is analyzing art and literature and breaking it down, right? And talking about what it's saying versus how it's necessarily on the surface presenting itself, right? But especially with modernism, that's especially something, right? And she was like, I implore you to try and engage with this, you know, with these things. It's okay if you don't like it, you know. That's not what it's about, you know. And I think a lot of these kids have have either weren't listening or just don't care, because also multiple times throughout our class, both of my teachers have said, like, it's okay if you don't like something, but please refrain from like saying stuff along the lines of like, oh, well, I could do that, you know, like, oh, this is nothing about, like, you know, paintings or like writing or whatever. That is and mainly this comes about with contemporary art. Why do people love to hate on contemporary art so much? I don't know. I think it's because we don't like thinking about things. Maybe it's because of iPhone that we don't like thinking about things. I don't know. Just a few ideas. We'll get back to that. We'll get back to the anti-contemporary art in a bit. But basically, you know, modernism, so this is what she says. And the first day that we were studying modernism, we read, I'm gonna find the paper, actually, because I don't remember what it was called exactly. But we read In a Station of the Metro by Ezra Pound, which, if you are not aware, is a 2-line poem, right? I'll just read it. The apparition of these faces in the crowd petals on a wet black bough. That's it, right? And the outroar from these kids behind me. That's it? This is the worst poem I've ever read. This is nothing. This doesn't mean anything. I could do this. Whatever. So completely ignoring everything that we were just told to not do and not think and try to understand it on a deeper level. Even if you don't like it, that's fine. My teacher said that. I feel like there's a weird thing where it's like currently, and I'm sure this has been a thing forever, I'm sure, but I'm really hot on this. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. I'm not sorry for being passionate about something. That's another thing that's weird recently, is like, being passionate about things is like embarrassing and cringe, and it's like, no, it's okay to feel things, you know? It's okay to express yourself creatively and emotionally. Like, come on now. What are we doing? God damn. And, okay, so there was that, which really bothered me, as well as then today. And this ties into, there's a lot on this page, right? Because I was so hot about this that I wrote down these notes when I was in class. Oh my god. But basically, we're looking at, yeah, I put away the notebook only to take it right back out. We're focusing on, or we're starting to, study James Whistler, right? Who, I believe, I don't really know yet since we just started this today. This is literally today that all this happened. He kind of like abandoned realism in favor of modernism and, you know, took on a bit more of abstract sort of influences sometimes, and I don't know, right? We've looked at like 3 of his paintings, right? Doesn't matter. But we watched a video about, because he does get into more, just because of the nature of modernism and because we are moving more towards contemporary in full swing, right? And we've been looking at some contemporary art, like here and there. And we watched a video actually about the idea of like, oh, well, I could do that, you know. I could do that, referring to, you know, paintings in this context. And I guess this is gonna sound kind of like I'm talking about a lot of things, but it's because I am, right? I'm trying to cover a lot of things. But it's because, to me, as well, it's all interconnected. Maybe this is kind of just me jumping conclusions and being a little bit off my rocker, because, you know, but it was, I don't know, we were watching this video, I think it was by The Art Assignment, if that's the name of the channel, if I'm remembering correctly, and it was about this idea of, like, oh, well, I could do that, and, like, challenging that idea of art, and it's like, well, that doesn't really matter, right? Doesn't, even if you, like, the 2 points that were brought up in that video were, you actually might not be able to do that, first of all. Second of all, you didn't, right? You know, which then there's the counter argument of, well, but how are those valid arguments, right? You know, whatever. And basically it's like, just because, I don't know, because something seems, and to me this is obvious, right? And to most artists, I think it's obvious that, like, just because something appears to not have technical skill behind it doesn't mean that A, it doesn't have technical skill behind it, and B, that it's then inherently devalued by, if it's, you know, like, it's like the whole, like, the square on the canvas, the blue square on the white canvas, and that's all it is. It's like, and it's like, that's not real art. The second we start getting into that, there's a guy on Instagram, actually. I've never seen the original videos of these, but, you know, I'm sure some of you actually have, but there are these, like, anti-contemporary art videos that, like, Instagram Reels, like, that you see on Instagram Reels sometimes, where it's, like, it shows a bunch of contemporary art and, you know, performance art, actually, a lot of it, and they're all, like, in installations or museums or whatever, and it's, like, weird experimental, you know, contemporary art, and I think a lot of it's actually really cool, but the caption is, like, this is art. Really? Like, this is art, you know? Like, this is what's considered art. And the point that the guy who posts these videos, the point he makes with it, not the guy who posts the original videos, but there's a guy who, like, will take those, show you a clip of it, and then be like, yeah, so this is fascism, actually, because here's why, you know? And it's that sounds kind of extreme if you aren't, I guess, tuned into this sort of thing, right? But the idea that some art isn't real art in terms of, man-made art. I'm not talking about AI art, okay? I don't want to hear anything about AI art, sorry, in the comments of this video, cuz it's not anything, okay? That's just theft. I don't care about that. That's not art. That isn't art. Art made by humans is what I'm talking about. The second we start getting into like, oh, that's not real art, and when it's weird contemporary, experimental stuff, versus then, oh, but the art I like is good, is real art and good, The second we start getting into that, and this guy, I wish I could remember his handle. He was way more eloquent about it than I clearly am being. I guess then I clearly am not being that eloquent, but you know what I'm saying. It's like, once someone starts coming for one piece of art, they're coming for it all, right? Like, it's all art should be valued kind of in the same way, right? In terms of like, it's all art and it should all matter, just because you don't like something doesn't mean that it's bad, right? And obviously there's nuance and layers to this, right? So don't be putting words in my mouth. I'm saying from a fundamental level of, I guess, art movements, right? If you're anti-art, then you're anti-all art. It's not just the art that you don't like, right? That's the argument I think that was being made. I wish I could remember this dude's video. I can't, though. But it was really interesting. Because it's like one of those things where it's like we're seeing weirdly right-leaning things within leftist and liberal spaces online, and within artists and queer people as well. And here's a good segue, actually. So we were watching that video, right? And in the video, yeah, we're going back to when I was in class today. We were watching this video about this idea of like, oh, I could do that, whatever. And we start, and in the video, she mentions Felix Gonzalez Torres, right? Who, if you're not aware, did Portrait of Ross in LA and Perfect Lovers, which was the one that she focused on. That's the one with the two clocks, right? But Portrait of Ross in LA is very popular. It's very well known. If you're not aware, it's an art installation. And I apologize if I get anything wrong. Again, my memory isn't very good, and my brain is a little foggy right now. It's an installation where there are, I'm just going to say a lot because I don't have the numbers right, of pieces of candy, right? And as part of the installation, you are meant to take a piece of candy, right? And you might not think much of that, and then you read the placard or actually, read about or hear about the actual meaning. And his partner, Ross, died of AIDS, and Portrait of Ross, I believe, was supposed to kind of represent his slow, loss, right, of his life. And Perfect Lovers is two clocks, just regular commercial clocks, and they're in sync with each other, and slowly it's kind of, you see what gets out of sync first, right? What batteries run out before the others do. And in the video they mention this, the whole I guess inspiration, you could say, behind a lot of these works being his partner, Ross, who died of AIDS, right? And this is and she said in the video, she said that he died of AIDS, and the kids behind me laughed, right? Which I got so hot about that, right? And, maybe I should give them the benefit of the doubt that this was just, poorly circumstanced or something, right? But it's just, I don't understand how you can think that that is funny, And here's what's confusing about it, right? Is the fact that it was, I think, 2 girls and 1 guy, and he's a gay guy, very openly, visibly queer, right? And you're laughing about this. And it's like, and maybe they weren't, right? But it's like, these are all the same kids that were like, I could do that, I could whatever. This isn't real poetry. This isn't anything, I need water, I apologize. And it's just absolutely, it's like, it's maddening, right? I get so hot about it because it's just like the lack of empathy, in my opinion, right? By having this anti-intellectual view on, shutting down people and different points of view with like, it's not that deep, bro, whatever, I could do that. It doesn't matter. Like, it's like, I don't know, there's just like this lack of empathy with it. And you see this then also in queer spaces. And there's like a weird amount of homophobia recently that I've seen with like my generation, I feel like. And, people older than me too, right? It's not just kids my age. But it's like in these leftist and I guess liberal, more so is what it is, spaces. This is queer spaces, right? Just a few weeks ago, I had an encounter, right? Not really. I overheard a conversation about, one of the kids in my class was doing a piece about, homophobia within, a gay guy, right? And I think that they're a lesbian, and it was a lesbian and their bisexual friend who's a girl, like a cis girl, right? They're just talking about, the piece. They're trying to find symbolism and stuff to put in it, like visual symbols. And I was like, okay, we get to, that all, quote unquote, all the good symbols are taken by lesbians. And there was this weird thing where it's like implying that lesbians are better than gay men because gay men are men. And it's like, and I've seen this online as well. Like this whole thing of like, well, he's still a man. And like this weird thing even within bi people where they'll be like, I hate that I'm bi because I hate that I like men, And it's just like, it's a weird thing because, I don't know, as someone who is a man who likes men, not exclusively, right? I'm technically bisexual, as my friend Levi put it once. Very funny. I don't know, I'm queer, right? I have a boyfriend, I'm a queer man, right? It's whatever, right? It's just always then so shocking then when you hear people being homophobic that are also queer. Like it's lesbians and like sapphic people, I guess, like being homophobic towards gay men and men who like men. Homosexuality, right? You're being homophobic towards homosexuality, which is just, I don't know, it's so weird because it's like, why? And I'm sure there are layers to this that I'm not really getting as in like the psychological, like philosophical, like reason as to like why this is whatever, right? Why you have this view, I don't know. And I'm not here to be like, men aren't, it's not all men. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, I don't know, it's just always kind of crazy every time that I see people being like that, right? And it goes both ways, it really does. You will see gay guys and trans men as well, actually, being misogynistic, and I don't know if it's necessarily lesbophobia in the same way, as it is more so just general misogyny, but you see a lot of misogyny from gay men. You just do. And I'm not saying that that's okay or whatever, Just don't be putting words in my mouth. That's what I'm saying, I don't know. I'm just, I don't want to get, misinterpreted. So I'm kind of trying to cover all my bases. But I don't know. It's just a very strange thing to see, like, because it's not infighting exactly. It's like, I don't know. Like, you're gay bashing each other. Why? You know? Why? You know? We should be all together. We're all in this together. Once we know we're all stars, something, something, and we'll see that, you know? High School Musical had it right there. We're all in this together. But I guess not, right? No, I just don't understand it, because then it for me, it ties back into this, like, anti-intellectualism thing, which maybe I'm incorrect about that, but it's like this fundamental lack of empathy. And, like, a lack of, I don't know, it's like a weird amount of bigotry in, like, my generation within young people who are apparently supposed to be very liberal and very woke, right? There's also, you know, the whole, like, that friend who's too woke, like, are you sure that you're not just being woke, whatever, which are, like, funny jokes, right? Except for then when I hear someone actually my age be like, well, you're just being woke about it, though. And I'm like, what? You know, it's about something not even socio-political whatsoever, right? And it's just, I don't know, it's just shocking to me, because it's like, I don't know. There's a lot of ableism in art. There's a lot of ableism as well. You know, all of this stuff with, non-autistic people, talking about autistic people in that way, or using terms. The etymology nerd on Instagram, actually, I don't remember what his last name is, so I'm not going to say it, but his name's Adam, I believe. But the etymology nerd, he talked about this before. In group, I guess, like, terms and words and jokes get kind of co-opted by people outside of the in-group and almost then used in a derogatory manner against that in-group who made it in the first place. It's kind of a joke about, and in this case, you see it with, like, people saying, like, a touch of the tism, or, like, neurospicy, or whatever, like, that sort of thing, which was, and even worse, like, things, like, people doing puns on the R slur and stuff like that, and it's, like, it's just so shocking, because I remember when I was just a little bit younger, only like 5 years ago, you know, it was very like we were actually moving away from being ableist in that very outward manner where we're saying the R slur and we're being terrible towards each other and generally just shitty behavior, right? It seemed like we were moving away from that, and kids my age were actually moving away from that. And, you know, maybe I don't know what that has to do. You know, I don't know what the cause of that is. Maybe it's Trumpism, I guess, or something. Just the alt-right pipeline in general, right? Maybe that's the source of it. I don't know. There's, like, this weird ableism where it's, like, people who... It's like that joke where it's, like weird girls when real freaks come at them, right? Or whatever. Where it's, like... I don't know. It's, like... I don't know, there's a lot of weird ableism that's happening, and a lot of it's towards autistic people. I mean, that's really all I can speak to, is because that's what I really see. But obviously ableism exists everywhere all the time, forever, you know, unfortunately. But there's, like, a lot of weird, like, autistic-specific ableism that I feel like I've been seeing a lot of. And it's in a weird way where it's, like, trying to be playful, but then it's also, like, being derogatory, like, you're saying this, like, I don't know, it's like, it's just so shocking to me, because I grew up where it's like, it's like, the R slur is very bad, and you don't say it. Maybe it's because of how I was raised, or, like, because I, you know, grew up around, you know, people who were in, like, special needs programs, and, like, my grandma was she was an aide at, you know, in, like, high schools, you know, and maybe it's because I, like, grew up around, like, that sort of thing, so maybe that's why but I, fundamentally in my head, I never was, like, that was something that was, like, just, like, okay to be saying and using at people in that sort of way, and it's just, like, it's so shocking to me. Then we're seeing, literally, you're seeing one of the most popular YouTubers, at least a few years ago, of course he's fallen off now, but most shocking thing I see on my timeline is Dream, the fucking guy, you know, the Minecraft guy, And he's like, he posted that thing where it's like the meme where it's like calling this other YouTubers like fans the R slur. And it's like, what the hell? Like, what are we doing? Are you serious? And then he's like, well, I'm autistic, so it's okay, whatever, whatever. And it's like, but you're still using this as a slur in a derogatory manner towards people. And that's like, it's like, generally, there's just a weird, fundamental lack of empathy that then, I don't know, it's like, so strange. It's so strange. Like, people are homophobic. People are very racist. People are very ableist. What is going on right now, you know? It's like there's a lot of weird shit happening online, and obviously it's reflective of what is going on in real life, but also at the same, it's like we can't just, it's like, unfortunately, I just dropped my iPhone trying to show you it, but obviously, like, in my opinion, most people can't just not have internet anymore, you know? Like, you can't just not go on your phone. Whether that's good, I think that's bad, right? I don't know. I don't want a smartphone. I want like a cell phone, you know? Like, I'm sick of this shit. But basically, I don't know. It's just like, there's a lot of weird, and I'm so confused. Like, what is going on? What are we doing? What is all of this crap, you know? Like, what's with the homophobia? What's with the ableism? What's with the anti-intellectualism? Back in my day, we actually wanted to learn about things and, like, be good people, right? I don't know, that's how I grew up. I don't know how you people grew up, you know? And it's just so shocking, because it's like, the kid's my age, and you're saying this sort of thing, and you're being like this. You're my age, and you're saying that, like, gay men are the worst in the world. It's like, and you're not really joking either, you know? And it's like, and you're also right next to, like, queer men as well, that you're saying that, I guess boys, I think man is a strong word. I don't know if I'm a man, because I'm 17, but you know what I'm saying, you know? It's, like, shocking to me, right? I don't know, it's just, like, really weird. They're, like, why is everyone being so weird lately? And, like, I don't know. It's just appalling to me. I don't know. I don't like this anti-intellectual crap. Like, why don't you want to learn? Why are you consciously refusing to understand or even try to understand things that are out of your wheelhouse, out of your comfort zone? You know, why are you so profoundly against contemporary art? You need to have an open mind, honestly. Like, try to have an open mind. And I've never understood why people don't do this. And that's also where bigotry comes from, is a lot of bigotry comes from learned hatred and ignorance. Usually together. And ignorance is a huge thing, and it's like, why wouldn't you want to unlearn your own biases and unlearn your own, like, break away from learned ignorance and learned perceived, like, I don't know, it's just like, I get so hot about it, because it's like, how are we the same age? How are you my age? And, like, being immature about this sorts of things, and, like, being crappy about it, you know? I just don't know. Ugh, like, what's going on, guys? What are we doing? I don't know. I don't know what we can do to combat this either. Like, I really don't have any solutions. It's just like, it's crazy to me. And this is all within this year that all of these things that I've mentioned, like my specific examples, within this year alone have happened. It is, I don't know. I don't know why we're all so eager to be unempathetic and passive about things. And, like, it's okay. I think it's actually very good to be passionate about things and to care deeply about things. That's why I hate the whole, like, I'm just a chill guy, I'm nonchalant, whatever sort of thing. I hate it. I do. Because it's like, but why aren't you letting yourself just, have fun and, like, be passionate about things you're passionate about, And it's like this whole thing with, like, oh, am I cringe? Am I cringe? It's like, it doesn't matter. If you're cringe, that's fine. Be cringe so long as you're not being boring and crappy to other people. Like, oh my god, fundamentally, I don't understand how people do not, like, why wouldn't you want to be open-minded and empathetic and engage with things that are different and things that put you out of your comfort zone in terms of art that you consume? You know what I'm saying? Like, and bottom line, why are you taking an AP art history class if you don't like art? Because clearly you don't like art. Clearly you don't like art that much if you're gonna bash on it this hard, if you're gonna be weird about it, if you're gonna be close-minded. Like, why are you taking a class where the whole thing is you're supposed to be open-minded and analyze art that is new to you and learn new things? And you're just so trapped in your own head of, like, I need to, like, this is, like, I'm broken. I'm broken. I can't do this. I am so sick of this. Like, why? Why is this happening? I was thinking about naming this video just what's with all the homophobia. But then, I wanted to talk about the other things as well, like anti-intellectualism and the weird fascist everything with all of it. It's like, guys, by closing yourself off from art, you're opening the door to being misled and brainwashed and, like, I sound crazy. I really sound crazy right now. But, like, I'm serious. I don't know. I feel like the whole thing, like, it's not a bad thing to be woke, guys. It's okay to be socially aware of things and, feel strongly about things that upset you socially that are going on. It's actually good to feel upset by terrible things happening in our government, like, I don't know, it always comes back to that with me. My mom and I keep having conversations about the fascist in the White House and how mad we get and how deeply upset it makes us. And it's really awesome seeing my, like, moderately liberal mother slowly just become radicalized more and more just by, living as a woman in America. That's all it is, really. Living as a woman in America with a queer kid. That's what's happened, right? And my mother has been radicalized in that sort of sense, right? I don't know. I'm so sick of this. I'm so sick of this weird anti-intellectual crap and all of the bigotry that is then because of that, because it's all from a lack of empathy. And then for some reason, then you're all just chill with, like, the worst dude ever being president. And you're like, well, it doesn't affect me. And then when it starts affecting you, then you're gonna, like, be like, what? No. The second it starts affecting you, then you're like, and it's like, why aren't you? And it's like, if you paid attention in your art classes, you would know that this is how it happens, If you... I sound deranged. But I think I'm done. I'm so tired of this. I feel like I'm going in circles, so I think I need to end it here. Also, I'm, like, losing my voice. Can you hear it? I don't know. I don't know I don't know why this is happening so much. Maybe it's, like, the whole, like, how do we go from brat summer to, fascism winter? Well, that's kind of what happens. I don't know. It's just, like, weird to me. This is a 40-minute long video. I'm so sorry. This is way too long, and it's just me complaining. I don't even know what I'm gonna call this video. Sure as hell ain't editing it, okay? Good night. Goodbye and good night. Bang. Okay, my live journal and my Instagram are below, and I put music out on this channel sometimes too, but not in a long-ass time. Subscribe, bruh. I don't know. Leave a comment. Do whatever. I got Instagram and LiveJournal. I love my LiveJournal. Okay. Whatever. Bye. Go read a book. Go read a book. Okay? It's okay. Go read a book. It'll do you some good. Okay? Get off your iPhone. Go outside. Take a walk. I'm serious. It heals you. Okay? Okay, bye.